Scored at the Stretford end in both these United games recently against Astana and Rochdale.
He's got 5 goals in 6 Premier League outings this season.
Ashley Young is destined to get a yellow card, I'm afraid. He's got 4 yellows in his last 8 Premier League starts.
And even with Manchester United not having Rashford and Martial potentially, I still think Manchester United will score.
Well, no doubt about the game of the weekend in the Premier League. In this round of fixtures, Monday night, it's Old Trafford, the venue for Manchester United against Arsenal. Always one of the most anticipated fixtures of the Premier League campaign. Warren Ashurst here to run you through the latest betting suggestions from our team, and Simon alongside me will run you through what he thinks from a Man United perspective. Fighting the corner of Arsenal to my left is Chris. And certainly, guys, this has been a game 10-15 years ago where you'd have been talking about these two teams battling for the title, the biggest of rivals. It looks now as though the top 4 is the main target for both of these two sides. Where are United at the moment, Simon, and can they get things right on Monday?
Yeah, United aren't in a great place, to be honest. After the midweek, slightly sort of disappointing result against Rochdale. Got through, of course, but young players not really stepping up to the mark. There'll be the regulars coming back in for this game, but I've got to say, as a United fan, I'm not as confident as I have been in previous seasons for this one against Arsenal.
Arsenal, again, patchy form of late, Chris. At times look brilliant going forward, but look all over the place at the back. But this might be an opportunity for them to get an unexpected result maybe at Old Trafford.
Yeah, they don't have a great record away from home against the top 6 opposition in the Premier League in Old Trafford. I think plenty of Arsenal fans have cried themselves to sleep after watching Arsenal at Old Trafford in recent times, but only lost 2 of the last 6 against Manchester United at the Theatre of Dreams, which is a much better record. They should have won the fixture last season, finished 2-2. They couldn't finish the job on that occasion, but there's certainly hope for Arsenal, particularly with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in good form and Kieran Tierney, Rob Holding and Hector Bellerin returning to fitness in the Carabao Cup win over Nottingham Forest. So there's plenty to like about Arsenal going into this game, I think. And
certainly the price is something to like as well. Arsenal 2-1 to win the game on Monday. Manchester United around 7-5 and the draw is 13-5. And I have to say, I'm going to give this round to Arsenal. I think 2-1 looks like a really good price with the attacking threat that Unai Emery's side have. We're going to look now at potential player bets, and Simon, United, poor as they've been, they have, you have to say, been hampered really badly by injuries over recent times, and again, they're having to deal with problems this week.
Squad's being stretched to breaking point again, isn't it? There's no Anthony Martial again this week. Paul Pogba came back in midweek, but is he going to be fit enough to start a game of this magnitude? He looked badly off the pace against Rochdale, to be honest. Luke Shaw still a massive doubt. But there are going to be senior players coming back, of course. But it's really up front where United are badly missing Marcus Rashford now, and I think his deputy is Mason Greenwood, and it's a lot to ask of an 18 or barely 18-year-old to try and lead the line against a club like Arsenal after he's played 90 minutes in midweek. You know, Solskjaer's still mulling over whether to pick Greenwood in this game, but if he does come on, in the second half, I think he's definitely a goal scorer that United will rely on. He scored at the Stretford end in both these United games recently against Astana and Rochdale, and I'd be looking at Mason Greenwood to score last in this one, covering the fact that he could be a substitute here and the fact that it'll be again the Stretford end in the second half. Then 6-1 for Mason Greenwood to score last is a good bet for me.
OK, what about Arsenal, Chris? I mean, there's the usual suspects in terms of goal scoring, and I think you probably can't look too much further past Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang at the moment.
No, he is my top choice to score any time in this game at 7-5. He's got 5 goals in 6 Premier League outings this season. He was the hero against Aston Villa last time out as well, and he's already got a couple of goals in his Arsenal career against Manchester United, scored in 2 of the 3 meetings that they had against the Red Devils last season, so does know the route to goal. Nicolas Pepe, another choice at 9-4, opened his account. Dangerous player for Arsenal, not quite clicked into gear yet, but he's had the second most shots of any Arsenal player in the Premier League this season, so those are the 2 in terms of goal scoring. But you're looking away from that and looking at players to be booked. This is normally quite a feisty fixture, isn't it? And Matteo Guendouzi is 2-1 to pick up his 3rd yellow card in the Premier League this season. He's a bit of a loose cannon, the young Frenchman, puts himself about a bit, and this is a game, as I say, where you normally get a hatful of yellow cards.
Well, I have to say both really good suggestions, and I like the fact that Mason Greenwood's in form at the moment, and he certainly has no fear in this Manchester United side, but I do think it's good value for Aubameyang to score at any time. 7-5, he looks a real threat on any given occasion, and I do think I'll edge towards Arsenal on this one. In terms of round 3, we're looking at value bets and maybe outside bets to look at in terms of this fixture. Simon, what have you been looking at here?
Yeah, I've been looking again at the bookings, as Chris mentioned. I think it's a feisty fixture. I think the referee, Kevin Friend, is not averse to dishing out yellow cards. And I think this one is a match where Ashley Young is destined to get a yellow card, I'm afraid. He's got 4 yellows in his last 8 Premier League starts. He's probably going to start again at fullback in this one. He's getting a little bit long in the tooth now. He doesn't have the pace to match quality, Arsenal forwards that we know they've got. And also, I think he still tackles a little bit more like a midfielder than the fullback. He doesn't stay on his feet enough. He goes sliding in, goes off his feet, and that will produce more yellow cards. And I think a yellow card for him at 9-4, just at any time, or also have a look at him to be the first yellow card at 11-1. Both good chances there.
Okay, what about Arsenal, Chris? What have you looked at?
Yeah, I've gone for a correct score in terms of a long shot. Arsenal to win 2-1 is 11-1 in this game. The Gunners have scored at least 2 goals in their last 7 outings, so they've got no problem finding the back of the net. But we mentioned it previously, they can't keep a clean sheet. And even with Manchester United not having Rashford and Martial potentially, I still think Manchester United will score in this game. But as I say, I think Arsenal can win this fixture, and 2-1, which is the last scoreline that Arsenal won by at Old Trafford a couple of years ago, at 11-1 jumps out at me as offering a bit of value.
Well, I think there's some great value there amongst those bets. I'm going to go with Simon on this occasion. I think that's a great shout regarding Ashley Young. I think he's been struggling in that left-back slot over the last couple of seasons, but even more so this year. And if Aubameyang, as he's done recently, is peeled out wide, Ashley Young could have all sorts of problems against him. I'd also look as well at both teams to score, because I think both of them look a little bit shaky at the back at times. Certainly Arsenal do, but they have the threat, of course, going forward. So that's our thoughts then on Monday's big game. It's Old Trafford, the venue for Manchester United against Arsenal. Let us know what you think on our social media channels on Facebook and on Twitter. And of course, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.